Hello, Endo Warrior Goddesses. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. As always, I am so grateful that you are here, and thank you for returning to my channel. If you are a community member, if you are new to my channel, then welcome. It's so great to virtually meet you. My name is Bailey M. Bain. I am a yoga and meditation instructor, as well as a fellow Endo Warrior Goddess. If you have not gathered by now, I was diagnosed with endometriosis by laparoscopy earlier this year in April of 2021, and ever since then I have been on my channel documenting my journey through my symptoms, my surgery, my healing, and my recovery without hormones. So if that interests you, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post videos 3 times a week and I talk more about my journey. So if you have endometriosis or Hashimoto's or have any kind of mental health issues that you are dealing with, then you are my kind of people. Stick around and join the community because we have things to talk about. So if you have not gathered by the title of today's video, today I wanted to talk a little bit more about using cycle tracking for birth control, which is what I've been doing for the last 5 years, and this is not doctor approved. But it is FDA approved, so keep that in mind. I'm not a doctor. My doctor actually does not approve of this method, but it's Bailey approved. I have been using it for the last few years and really like it. I think that a lot of us in the holistic space, as far as birth control goes, this has worked for a lot of us. So yeah, take it if you like it, leave it if you don't, and yeah, we'll go from there. So I'm curious out there actually how many of you already use a cycle tracking form of birth control, whether that's just manually doing it using an app or Natural Cycles. I know is a huge one out there right now. Let me know in the comments below if you've used any of those and if you like them actually. I'm curious. I'm maybe in the market for downloading a new app or something like that, but probably not. I like what I do and, you know, I go from there. So I have talked in earlier videos about my experience getting off of birth control, off of hormonal birth control that is, and how my body does not resonate with hormonal birth control. So getting off of hormonal birth control was actually the best thing that I could have done for my mental and physical health at that time, and even now. I wouldn't dream of getting back on hormonal birth control after just how negative of an experience I had in my physical body and just mostly my mental health. I can't even lie to you. When I got off of birth control, it was like a cloud was lifted and the sunshine could get through, and my mental health improved significantly. So yeah, I would never dream of going back. But for the last 5 years or so, I've been using cycle tracking to be more mindful of my fertility and using that as birth control. So most of us know in the back of our mind, but I feel like don't let it sink in. Just a general rule of thumb for most people in the general population, we can only get pregnant during the ovulation cycle in our menstrual phases. So we have 4 phases of the menstrual cycle: luteal, menstrual, ovulation, and follicular, and that's not the order that they go in. Maybe it is, but if it is, I'd be miraculously surprised. That is not the order they go in. But in these phases, we have different levels of hormones and our bodies do different things. So in the ovulation phase, that's the only phase that we can get pregnant in. So we've all kind of heard of these little ovulation sticks to test our hormones and that kind of thing. It looks like a pregnancy test, but it's an ovulation test to test if you are ovulating or not. Those are super handy when it comes to tracking your cycle, fertility, all that kind of good stuff. So I use an app that shows me what the phases of my cycle are. And so it shows me that I have about a week in the ovulation phase once I track my menstrual cycle. So when we are in that week of ovulation phase, we are extremely careful when it comes to sex. We use protection during that time because that's obviously the time that is more high risk. So, you know, your condoms, your spermicides, those kinds of things. That's like a perfectly natural, safe way to go about it, I would think, you know, right? But in the other times during the cycle phases, then you're not as susceptible. I don't think you're susceptible at all to getting pregnant. And that's why I like cycle tracking. So there's an app, it's a program called Natural Cycles, and it actually is FDA approved. Natural Cycles itself is FDA approved, and it comes with a thermometer, so you can check your basal temperature for like every single day in that morning, and then it gives you a more accurate representation of the days that you are ovulating, so that you can either refrain from sex or use protection in that same way. But it's a way more natural way to, as the name suggests, Natural Cycles, it's a way more natural way to use birth control than hormones. So it's not messing with any of the physical hormones. It's just simply being more mindful of your own fertility, of your own cycle. And there's so many more benefits than just birth control to doing that. Knowing what phases in the cycle you are in help you understand what your body needs as far as exercise, food, what your hormones are doing, all of those kinds of things. So it's super important to know and to just keep track of your cycle. Even if you are, well, I wouldn't say even if you are on birth control, because birth control does mess with your cycle. You don't have an ovulation cycle. And a lot of times it can suppress our menstrual cycle as well. So hormonal birth control is just really, in my opinion, no good. You need your ovulation cycle because it's more than just fertility. It's this sense of like, you need those hormones. It's actually really good for your skin and many other things in your body. So you need that ovulation cycle. It's good to have that ovulation cycle. And like, why suppress your body of its natural functions and cycles? I don't get that. But yeah, like my doctor really does not approve of this. My doctor has actually told me verbatim, we call people who use cycle tracking for birth control parents. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that's pretty harsh. And I guess like, yeah, if you're doing it just willy-nilly, but being mindful of your cycle and tracking that, I don't see how that could be ever be a bad thing. Like doctors' jobs, and when I got off of birth control, my OBGYN at the time had told me she thought that was the best option for me, but she couldn't tell me that as my physician because her job is to sell the pills. But that's like, it's so far from the truth. It's not even funny. Her job as a doctor is to take care of me as a patient and do what's best for me and my best interest in my health. Like I shouldn't have to feel like I'm fighting against my doctors for what's in my own best interest, and she shouldn't have ever had to say that to me. So I'm very grateful that I have healthcare professionals who are on my team, on my side, and who do advocate now for what's best for me and my health. And hormonal birth control is not one of those things. So I don't use hormonal birth control. I can't use hormonal birth control. And so Natural Cycles is the best thing that I have available to me right now. And so that's what I do. It's worked for me for the last 5 years, knock on wood. But I just also have so much faith and trust in the universe that if we ever had a child, that child would come in divine timing, and we would never be given anything in life that we could not handle in the time that we are given it. And just, right now is not the right time. And I know that that's like, for anyone struggling with fertility issues, that's a really hard thing to think about and grasp. And I guess it might not always be the case for every single person, but that's the case for me. I know that like right now in my life, this is not the time. This is not the house. This is not the place. We have a wedding coming up in a few months, and just we're excited. We have things looking forward to, and now is not the time for family. Not the time to start a family, if you will. So we know that, and yeah, I guess that's all I really have as far as this video goes, but just, reminding you that being aware of your cycle and tracking your own fertility is not a bad thing, and it can actually be used as a form of birth control. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope you take that with you and do with it what you will. Leave it if you don't like it. Take it if you like it. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I will see you in the next video. Happy healing, my friends. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Follow me on social media for more daily content. And as always, I'll be back every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday with more content.